Welcome to Breaking Up, a podcast about breakups, love, and pop culture. We'll be answering some questions that people have emailed in and recommending some films, TV shows, and books to help cope with heartbreak and focus on the upside of breaking up. I'm the usual podcast host, Isabella Shields, and I'm here with a pair of student radio veterans, Eilís and Christopher Lightfoot. Hello.
Hiya!
Hi.
How are you doing, love?
You might remember Eilís from a previous episode called Crab Meat Bin Bag, but this is Christopher's first appearance on the podcast itself after our radio show on Queen's Radio.
Good radio show.
It was a good radio show. It was excellent. We got to talk a lot about Grimes, which is kind of just what we wanted to do at the time, Christopher.
And now we just want to talk a lot about Taylor Swift, so stay tuned for that.
Eilís does not want to talk about Taylor Swift.
No. And that's all I'm saying about that.
That's that case closed.
It's just awful because obviously still being in this isolation phase, it's I meet up with friends maybe once, twice a week. And in the last couple of weeks, I've just been very inelegantly segueing the conversation into folklore in any way that I can. It's just how are you doing? How's isolation holding up? And I'm yeah, it's good because there's that new Taylor Swift album. Maybe we should talk about it.
One thing I feel is actually really well expressed by Taylor Swift in the new album.
Yeah.
But will we do the first questions? We all know each other from Edinburgh Uni. We all did our masters together. We're bound together for life by our love of literature.
How long that master's felt.
And also our love of Shrek. Christopher's wearing some very fetching Shrek-themed headphones.
Honestly, these headphones, they were the exact same model as all these other headphones, but because they were green, they were half off. And I was this is a deal. This is a deal. Who wouldn't buy these?
I am jealous. I do want them.
Yeah, because you're a Shrek mega fan.
I'm a stan. You could say that. A stan? Is that a Shrek stan?
Oh no! How awful! Before we were recording, we were talking about who would be who in Shrek, and Eilís fell very silent and said, "I don't want to offend you." So I'm so intrigued as to who Eilís thinks I would be in Shrek.
That is for me to know and you to find out at the end of the podcast.
The end of the podcast, okay. I'll try and hedge the conversation. I'll try and make sure I'm a good character. I'm looking at Lord Farquaad at the moment. That's
Also, just casually, I just remembered just as we're sitting here that Simon Cowell was in Shrek 2.
Oh my god. What's going on with him? Last thing I saw of him, his face was frozen into a chilling mask and he was on some kind of TV advert.
He has a child, right? Or I think he had the child 3 years ago.
That's just awful.
Old news, maybe.
I think he was on a Barclaycard advert talking about how good it was that he could get a good interest rate or something. And I was you're Simon Cowell, you don't worry about interest rates, do you?
Oh, bless him. Actually, no, don't bless him. I think he's a horror. But anyway, speaking of horrors, we move on to the first question of the podcast.
Oh, please.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you strapped in? I think I realised that my boyfriend isn't funny. We've been dating for 4 months and he laughs at my joke and stuff we watch, but I don't think he's ever said anything that's made me laugh. Is this worth ending things over?
I'm coming strong, straight out the gates with a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Dump him. Get rid. I'll stand by what I said live on air.
Yep.
If he doesn't make you laugh, no, not worth your time.
But he's also an echo chamber for your comedy. He thinks you're funny. You're the funny one in the relationship.
Oh, in that case, he might be worth, or they might be worth, being kept around because they make you feel good. If you have someone laughing at you, a constant laugh track, you're hell yeah.
As an entourage.
I am narcissistic enough to enjoy that dynamic. 100%. You could just how comedians use the Fringe or whatever, smaller venues to test out their material before they hit the big time. Just use them as a screening wall, and then when you're the big group, bang out the anecdotes that have got the positive reception. I don't know.
He's your half-price preview.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bless him. For also what I'm really interested in is what he's laughing at that you watch as well. Because I think I said it's on the radio broadcast, if he's laughing at stuff like Family Guy, that's a real red flag. Contemporary Family Guy and American Dad. Almost exclusively. And you have to wonder what your humour is like and why you're this way. And like then you'll get the answer to why you've attracted someone who's like not got a sense of humour and like isn't funny. But maybe those two things aren't mutually exclusive. If he laughs a lot, if he's a giggler.
Yeah, just to look at the other side of it here, maybe, I don't know, if you connect in other ways, why does it matter? I don't know. I feel like the thing is, well, I know us three are all like very humour-centred people. Like here we are on a podcast trying to make other people laugh. Like, do you know what I mean? But like, I feel like I've just insulted us all within like 5 minutes. I don't know. But like, I don't know. If it's taken you 4 months to realise this, maybe. But the thing is now there's been this delay between like the radio recording and the podcast recording. I feel like it could be like those episodes of, you know, like when they do location, but there's like the added bit at the end where they visit the person afterwards and like see if they bought the house and how they've done it out. Like I feel like we could have like that added section at the end where like Kevin goes back to the house from Grand Designs and see how they're living in it and be like, so how is the relationship now?
The high-spec windows from Germany ever arrived. That is if we're going to Grand Designs this shit. I feel like with this question, I don't know, because like, as I've said before, I approach my entire life as a joke. Inherently funny. And if someone isn't like vibing at that level with me, I don't know. Is that someone I want to be around?
I get that. I sympathise with that, definitely. But also, like, how do you break up with someone by telling them they're not funny?
Oh, don't tell them. Find another reason. I'm sure there's plenty if they're not funny.
But then I also don't think that some people value being funny like as much as other people do.
And also it's like you do get like those people who aren't like always making jokes, but then when they like lay one down, it is absolutely just out of this world hysterical. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you never know. Maybe they're just like they only make one joke every 5 months, but my god. Like best of the Fringe, front page of the Guardian.
Yeah, floored.
Yeah.
No, I do get that because I do like a kind of not a slow burn, but just like really like finding out what someone's like almost like quite suddenly after having like quite an established idea of them. But I would say that's like a month into the relationship. Not 4 months. Like after 5 months, I can't handle a joke every 5 months, even if it's a really good joke. Like I can't dine out on that forever, Christopher. And like, I think there's definitely something to be said for like the quiet person who's like suddenly like earth-shatteringly funny. I just don't know if that's this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at the bottom line. For me, yeah, if they're not making you laugh, like, are they making you happy? They might be, but it depends on who you are as a person.
The problem is you're only living and loving. You're not laughing.
And if you're not living, you're not laughing. You're not laughing.
Are you really loving?
You're not loving. And if you're not loving, you're not living.
Yeah.
I think I've definitely gone out with people that I think I'm funnier than. By like a long way.
I really enjoy that statement.
I think, yeah. But I don't think I've ever been out with anyone who like absolutely never made me laugh.
Yeah, I agree. As much as I often sometimes shit on my ex, he did make me laugh a few times.
A few times. 6 or 7 times.
The bare minimum amount.
Just to say that's shitting on her ex, like rhetorically, not literally.
Oh no. I'm not gonna fly to Northern Ireland and like take a dump in the garden.
I think there was a time in TV when everyone kept like shitting on people's doorsteps and like lighting it on fire. Like, do you remember that? Like a brief period, I think in like E4 TV shows where someone would like shit in a bag and then set it on fire and it would like almost burn people's houses down. Like it happened kind of in Misfits. It happened in like that film Harry Brown, and it's like one of those things where once you've seen it happen once, it just seems to be happening like constantly.
I can't say I was familiar with this film.
And then it happens in The Simpsons as well. Like it's always happening in The Simpsons.
I'm not sure Harry Brown is an E4 type of film. Because Michael is shitting on a doorstep.
Well, I put it off, so I wouldn't know. I find it distressing because I can't handle old people being upset. But it's so hard to watch. Frightening. A chilling reminder of what's to come. But yeah, how would you break up? You wouldn't tell them it's because they're not funny.
Oh, if that's the only reason, I guess it'd be shit to make something up.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think
So maybe you'd have to lead with not being funny instead of just being dishonest.
Well, I guess it depends how you view humor, because like I always like when you're in like a really good group of friends because you can make in jokes and like humor, a sense of humor that is shared is like, my God, I sound like a bloody counselor, but like it's like 'cause you're in that like common understanding, like you've got that shared context and you've got like that shared compatibility that you can make jokes knowing that the person's going to find it hilarious.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason why you're so worried about them not making you laugh is that you're worried that you're not actually as compatible as you thought you were, and you don't see the world the same way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
So
mean?
is that how you break up with them? Just be like, our senses of humor don't really align. I think that means we're not compatible in a lot more ways than that.
Yeah, or like if you think the sense of humor thing is not how you want to lead, just be like, I just don't know if we're necessarily on the same page.
Yeah. I love the word compatible in like the context of relationships because I always think of it as like a computer issue, like software not compatible, get it? Right? Like you cannot be downloaded into my life. We're not compatible. Well, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think we're kind of unanimous on like don't go out with someone that doesn't make you laugh. Because I feel like some people do have like terrible senses of humor, but they should be with someone who also has the exact same sense of like no humor.
Yeah, so they can suffer together.
Yeah, they can just pair off.
Maybe a bit harsh, but
yeah, great. Any other words of wisdom on that one?
No.
Okay. Question 2. Oh, I liked this one when we did it before. I have a new boyfriend whose lifestyle is much healthier than mine. He's vegan, he hates smoking, he doesn't drink, he cycles everywhere, and he loves the gym. I am the total opposite. A smoker, drinker, meat eater, not massively into fitness. It made me a little self-conscious initially, but it's recently got a lot worse. He's asking me if I'll give some of these habits up. And while I know it'll be better for me in the long run, I don't feel right about giving things up for someone else. What should I do?
go with your gut. You know, if someone's actively trying to change you, even if they know you don't necessarily want to be changed, that's a bit of a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think I said this on the radio show, or one of us did. Maybe I'm claiming someone else's insight here, but it's like, even if you now wanted to make those changes in your life and you felt that your own desire to do them, you're never going to be able to delineate whether it's like your own desire or you've just kind of like given in to their like quite unfair demands. Like it's kind of robbed you of your own kind of agency over what you want to do.
Yeah. I also think like it's just really difficult to do something that you kind of don't want to do for someone else. Like everything needs to come from you, basically. Like if you're going to make that sort of choice, if you're going to make that sort of decision, it needs to be self-initiated. But also like I do totally get it. Like it does seem like your lifestyle is quite unhealthy. And I do think there are things like I totally understand people who are like, oh, I don't really want to go out with a smoker. But then you have to say that from the top.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be like, I won't go out with someone who smokes because it's like really unhealthy. Like it's an unhealthy lifestyle habit that I'm not like willing to get behind. I don't want it to be like in my face all the time.
Yeah, I feel like this person doesn't sound like they've got with this boyfriend as like an aspirational thing to try and make themselves better.
Yeah.
They're not like trying to reach for the stars here or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think many people get with each other to be like self-improvement projects or like. Actually, though, do you know, Eilís and I started watching Indian matchmaking.
It's so good.
There's an amazing program on Netflix, and like the divide is so funny because there's this guy called Prajaman who's like, she needs to understand that like I'll need to change her flaws with her, and we both need to evolve together, and she needs to understand that like I'll be able to fix her flaws. And then like there's another woman called Aparna who's just like, I don't need to evolve or change or develop in any way. Like the person I'm with should know that.
I was born perfect and this is how I'll stay. And her mum hideously disagrees. Her mum is like, absolutely not. spawn of Satan.
I think my mum's spawn of Satan was intense as fuck. But, like, I think it's just wild to get into a relationship with the intention of, like, fixing someone's flaws or, like, that someone's, like, a broken, like, got broken wings that you need to heal by, like, making them go to the gym.
So, like, arrogant to think that in this dynamic you are just, without any sort of critical thought, the better person who can help fix this broken person. Like, it's just so rude.
If anything, right, making me go to the gym is going to turn me into a worse, more miserable, angrier person. Like, it's a slippery slope downhill, not uphill.
Sorry, this is mood. If you had to give up one of those habits, if you had them, what would they be? Christopher, you're already a vegetarian, so...
And I don't smoke.
You don't smoke, so that makes it easy for you.
I don't drink that much either.
Oh my god, maybe you should go out with this person.
We'll hook you up.
Yeah, I'll send an email back. Just like, it feels like this wouldn't have worked out.
You can break up with them now. We found someone new.
But are any of those things like turn-offs for you? Eilís or Christopher?
I don't like smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, I love a drink, but if you're going to be a bit of a knob when you drink.
Oh yeah, because we had that question 2 weeks ago. Like, if someone's an absolute fanny when they've been drinking.
I may have sent that in.
But yeah, I think it's just everything in moderation. That's the thing. Yeah, I just think that's a better motto than like any of this. And if someone's like a mega health boy, vegan, non-smoking, non-drinking, like he seems like, because we were talking about this before, I think, how genuinely like restrictive a lot of like lifestyle choices are. Like how like veganism on top of like being teetotal, on top of like, yeah, a lot of these other things are like really regimented, but in a way that like totally relies on like what's it called? What's that word when you like don't accept anything?
Not like totalitarianism.
Yeah, it's totalitarianism. It's lifestyle totalitarianism. But who cares? It's just like when like not taking things you want and like
It's like self-flagellation. It's
like self-flagellation. Like it's control taken to like a really intense degree. And I think that's probably fine for a lot of people, but it just makes me like wary. It just makes me wary of someone that can't have a good time.
And what makes it even worse for me is a lot of the time it's to like take a moral high ground. It's like can be a really performative thing.
Yeah.
And like you can tell when someone's being genuine, but you can also tell when like someone's doing it just try to look good.
And to try to tell people that that's what they are doing.
Yeah.
And it's often people that do that talk about it constantly as well. And then that makes me think they're probably quite boring people. But I do think that approach is quite like monastic as well, to just like be the vegetable, live the vegetable life, consume only what the vegetables would consume, like grow like a vegetable. And I just think
be the vegetable and next to the album.
I say be the cowboy far too often, just as like a phrase for encouraging people. Be the cowboy.
I almost changed my Twitter bio the other day to being the cowboy.
That's a good one. You not listened to it? Christopher, you'd love it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I know I listen to the rest of the stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I have the rest of the playlist. I have like the Phoebe Bridgers. I have like all the other stuff you put in that Mitski playlist. So I just have never really listened to Mitski.
You need to be the cowboy.
You need to be the cowboy, but that's also a good breakup album recommendation.
Oh yes,
Be the Cowboy by Mitski. Big one. Big good one.
I feel like, to get back to the question, if you're gonna live a monastic lifestyle, just be a monk.
Yeah, exactly. Just like go and
go the whole lot.
Yeah.
I think also like just don't presume that someone is doing things because they haven't put thought into it. Like someone can drink, well, I don't know, like alcoholism is obviously not great, but someone can like drink and have thought about it critically and made the decision that it's something they want to do. Like, don't just presume they haven't considered their health.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, like, I think if anyone's making you feel self-conscious, like, that's such a red flag for me. like the word self-conscious in like a relationship context, I think is like quite dark. Because I think so much of relationships is about to be like acceptance and enjoyment and like indulgence in like a lot of parts of yourself that you kind of don't get to indulge in with friends in some ways. And like being vulnerable is a huge part of relationships. So if someone's making you feel like you can't like be vulnerable in any way, then it's like a bad sign. Bad boy.
What you gonna do?
But I think someone was saying that like most women they've been with have tried to treat them like a self-improvement project, like a male friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, and he was like, I don't think I'm that bad a guy, but they always just like want to go out and like buy me like all new clothes, which is like really funny because like now like every girlfriend's bought like a quarter of my wardrobe. And like they just like want to get me new clothes, like they just have like big ideas about like how I should change that are revealed like a month and a half into the relationship, and it's like very rarely the same. They don't have the same like wants, but they do want to like shift me about. They do want to like mold me into a different person.
That's so weird.
Nice.
Do you think that's a cultural thing though, where like the idea of the bad boy that women want to like get with so that they can make them better is like so ingrained in everything we see on TV and in films and stuff? Yeah,
Beauty and the Beast as well. She literally has to like teach him how to eat like a human being. He doesn't wash, all that kind of stuff. And like, I think there is like a big part of relating to people on that level that kind of makes it seem like love is like a challenge in a way, like to make someone like yours, I don't know, and to like help them. And so much of like, I guess the female version of that is like this martyrdom to like improve like a lost soul. But I don't know. When I was going out with someone, the first month of me going out with him, a person pulled me aside and was like, yeah, my friend went out with him and like I just wanted to let you know that he's a lost cause.
Ooh, oofa doofa.
Oofa doofa.
Those are the exact words that I would have used. Man alive. Like, yeah. I don't know, just let people be people for goodness sake. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why get with someone if you just want to change them entirely? It just reflects so badly.
Yeah, what you want is a sex doll. You want a mannequin to like
that you can dress up in a whole new wardrobe for cause.
Yeah. Exclusively in cause. Just get a mannequin out of cause. Just lift one out. Yeah, I think I've not actually seen that many guys like try to change like girls in front of me. Like I've never really seen that happen. So I think this is why like I'm interested in the sort of reversal of the Beauty and the Beast thing if this is a woman that's asking. And it's like I'm getting reformed the way that I think men have been more familiar with women reforming them in the past. But that's a huge generalization. As with everything on this podcast, I don't speak for everyone, all right?
We just make sweeping statements.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what you have to do in order to live in the world. Like, I can't get into the minutiae of everything. But, yeah, I don't know. I think if someone's just making you feel self-conscious, then just ditch it. And tell them that that's what they're doing. To be like, yeah, you're making me feel really self-conscious. I don't like it. I don't want to.
Because you're just gonna feel like, I don't know. It's if you feel like you have to live up to someone else's standards, it's never going to be equal. Just put it in the shredder. Put the shredder on also, and watch it go through and just become shards of paper that you can then burn to make sure that your personal safety and security remain safe. I don't know. That's my personal shredding. I'm happy to share that. That little guided tip on how I shred important documents there.
Christopher loves to shred. It's shredded. I think we can advertise Christopher as shredded to the podcast audience.
I think we just got our podcast title name.
Christopher is shredded. Okay, so our third question is: How long can you slag your ex off, brackets, vaguing, on Twitter before it gets a bit excessive? Eilís, I think, will have some feelings about this one.
I don't know what you're talking about at all. This is definitely not something that I would ever do.
Oh, hang on. I was just about to ask, should we define vaguing? And then I just saw that it's actually defined in the question. So, it's just me ending the university, like, crap, I've got 4,000 words to fill. What can I do?
You know, I think the answer to this has actually been changed by the pandemic, because we can't meet up in person as much. So you don't have the opportunity to slag someone off to your friends in person. So Twitter becomes like a handy platform where you can slag someone off and it's totally fine.
I think my answer to that would just be start a group chat, Eilís.
Yeah. Get a podcast, Eilís. That's what they're for.
Another white person with a podcast, I'm not sure it's needed.
Bold talk.
Bold chat on a white podcast. Adam isn't here. Adam normally brings the diversity that I painfully lack in my little white body. But yeah, I think I am very scared of Twitter, as the people will know. I find Twitter frightening. I would not give personal information away on Twitter, even though I give it away in audio form every week on this podcast.
I'm scared of Twitter. I tweet like once every 6 months. And I think my last tweet was just high speed 2, a lot of zoom, a lot of doom. Now, what I'm really tempted to do, and what I've been sitting on for months, is to tweet that tweet and say, can this also describe the last 4 months? But I'm worried, like, a lot of zoom, a lot of doom. But I don't know, cut this section, because I'm just pressing a
I'm enjoying it.
I'm so I don't know if it's insensitive. I don't know. But just it takes, because one of our lecturers followed me on Twitter, and now I'm like, everything must be golden. It must be
publication quality.
Yeah,
75 or above.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean?
I think that's a good tweet. I think you can do a lot with it. I wouldn't worry so much about offending people with a lot of zoom, a lot of doom.
A lot of doom. I don't know. This is my head.
I don't know who that would be directed to. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be all right, Christopher.
Thank you. I'll tweet that tweet.
Do your joke, and I'll screenshot it, put it on the Instagram story.
But to answer the question, I don't know. I would never be so bold. But I kind of respect it. I kind of respect anyone who can hit tweet on a tweet.
Is it bold, or is it just a really sad reflection of who you've become?
Always a good question.
I think I might sit out this answer.
It's fine. You can dunk on me. Please dunk.
You're obsessed with the dunk. You're desperate for the dunk.
He's been watching a lot of Space Jam.
Did you know they're making another one?
I do. Yes.
God. I feel like we've had enough of wrong-sounding Looney Tunes after Looney Tunes Back in Action and Space Jam.
When I was young, we bought our first ever DVD player from Tesco's. And it came with 3 discs. It came with The Perfect Storm. It came with a random selection of Friends episodes from Series 7. And it came with Space Jam. And I would put on the surround sound, because it came with Tesco surround sound, put it up to max and just play Space Jam's theme song so loud. And I was like, this is music. This is living. I used to love that when I was young.
How far you've come from Space Jam to Taylor Swift. What a hero's journey.
What a hero's Herculean journey. Yeah, I just also would not vague on Twitter, because I think that one of the reasons I would use Twitter, and almost the only reason I used Twitter when I was 18, was to get off with people and pull. And if I was dunking on people on Twitter, I think that other future potential matches might see that and get put off.
Yeah.
Now you've got me worried. Shit.
You can delete those tweets.
I think it's fine to do them when you're not looking, and then like, if you are looking, get rid of ex insults. Because, like, it would not, like, one of my biggest turn-offs generally is when you, like, go on a first date with someone, they say that their ex was horrible. Or, like, they just slag off their ex. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's what's waiting for me then, isn't it? Like, regardless of what's happening, like, that's what's waiting for me. Yeah. Also, always a red flag when a man refers to his ex as a bitch, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like, always a red flag.
Like, nag. I hate the term nag.
Yeah.
It pisses me off so much.
Men never get called nags. Women always do. Because, and also, like, the other thing, it's such really bad in relation to the last question, which is, like, the cause mannequin question. But, like, normally, if you feel like you're nagging, it's because someone hasn't done something that they said they were going to do. Like, that is what I always think when someone's like, oh yeah, like, nagging all the time. Like, well, if you did it, you wouldn't have to get nagged. Which sounds, like, kind of harsh. But, like, I think that is such a gendered feeling of, like, oh, I don't want to bother someone by getting them to do something that they said they were going to do, or something which is, like, obviously helpful to everyone in this building, if you know what I mean, or, like, everyone in this, like, house.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb, and it's so dumb to feel like, yeah, you're the problem. It's just a way of redirecting, like, blame for an issue that hasn't been resolved. I feel very strongly about quote-unquote nagging. But, yeah, I think if someone is describing an ex as a nag or a bitch, then it's a huge red flag. I don't know what the equivalent is for women. Like, I don't know what the women equivalent is for, like, how they describe their exes that would be a red flag.
Oh, I don't know.
But then there's that Donald Glover joke of, like, yeah, men are always talking about their crazy exes, but the women who have crazy exes get murdered.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think women most often just describe people as, like, cunts, really. Or, like, arseholes. It's like, yeah, or he was horrible, like, my ex was awful. But I don't know. I don't know what it's like for, like, gay men either. Or, like, queer relationships. And what does that divide look like?
I don't know. I think just the thing about this whole language is it's like someone has made, like, a narrative of a breakup that completely excludes them and immediately defines someone as, like, a villain that is beyond repair. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, maybe some people are like that, but also, like, just maybe be slightly dull about it and just realize, you know what I mean? I don't know. Just, like, watching stuff happen. I don't know. Just, I don't know if it's necessarily a productive thing to describe your ex in these terms, unless they are actually that way, because chances are they're probably not, and you've kind of created, like, a narrative that maybe isn't true just to appease you.
But
yeah,
being adult it takes so much effort.
Yeah, good point. I am the monk of which the last question refers to.
But I think the other thing is, as a friend who's got, like, other friends going through breakups, one of the first things I always think if I find out that someone, or actually just say to my friends if I find out that their ex made badly, is like, what a fucking psycho. Like, and that's kind of it. I'm like, yeah, he's acting like a total psycho, like, he's, like, awful and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I'm not really surprised that the shorthand of that becomes, like, yeah, my ex was a bit of a psycho. Or something like that.
No, I hate you.
Because, like, then that is easier than being like, yeah, they gaslit me for years, or, like, they did this to me, and, like, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Which maybe isn't such great first date chat. Yeah.
You don't want this conversation on the first meeting with someone to be like, let's really get into talking whether it's okay to describe people as being assholes or cunts. which one of those words do you think is most appropriate for your ex?
It's like a multiple choice test. Maybe you would actually save so much time if on a first date you rocked up, you gave them a sheet to fill out, and then you read through the answers and you're like, you don't sound like my kind of person.
Is that not just what, like, old dating sites were like? Yeah. When they have to do, like, because I always feel like that's something that you see when, and, like, shows really naughty, people are like, must love this, this, and this, must, like, do this pay grade, blah, 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 like the Indian matchmaking stuff. But then someone was saying that, like, they didn't understand why it wouldn't be helpful for women to meet the exes of the people that, like, they went out with before. And, like, get that information from them.
Yeah, get the
But
tea.
I was like, that's not really how relationships work, is it? Like, when you're finding out about people, you shouldn't already know about them from someone else's perspective and like
it's
interrupt
not
that
like a job
subjectivity.
interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, well, you have to hand someone like a piece of paper with some references to be like.
I would kind of love that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'd love performance reviews of like every person I go out with from their
Like,
ex.
Glassdoor.com, but for people.
Yeah. Don't see the problem with that. I feel like that's ethical. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it kind of would weirdly be good to have just like a breakdown of like a person in a really weirdly concrete way before you team up. I don't know. But yeah, I think leave it on Twitter. Start a group chat. Use your real life friends, real life contacts.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember about Twitter and social media is no one gives a shit. So like you're just shouting into a void and no one's actually taking any notice. And I'm not sure that's good.
we all know the best way to do these kind of things is you take a moody black and white picture of yourself, you put it on Facebook, and you just put a line like, "Oh, I just can't believe what some people are like in this world."
Oh my
god! and that's what you do.
That would be amazing. I really do remember the time when like Facebook was just full of people being like so upset that it's happened again, but what can you do? ... And then that little like side eye face. But then everyone in the comments would be like, "Are you okay, hon? Like, feel free to DM me if you need me."
Oh my god, yeah.
And then like some people would be like, "So sorry it's happened again. I know what he's like," with like the eye roll emoji. And you'd just be like, what is happening?
Does that still happen? Or is that like a...
I think that's like a Karen thing to do now. I feel like it's just Karens that behave like that.
It was such a cultural moment though.
Yeah, it really was.
Early 2000s will be defined by that and the nudge button on MSN.
Oh my god. I fucking loved MSN. And there's a great bit in Dolly Alderton's book, Everything I Know About Love, where she describes like logging off and logging on again to try and get her crush's attention. And then like, oh my god, all the stuff where you tell someone that like, yeah, you fancied them and then be like, sorry, that was my friend.
Oh man.
So cringe. I remember doing it so intensely. Like, why would my friend be over at like 7:00 on a Wednesday? Like, why would they be doing that? Have they hacked my account? Like, what's the premise for this 11-year-old me? So dumb. Bring back MSN. But yeah, I say keep it contained. No slagging people off on Twitter. Unless they're like celebrities and politicians and stuff. I think that's like punching up, not punching down or punching across. We need to make the decision.
I feel though, this is probably a really terrible comparison to make, but like if some famous singer can like sing about their ex and slag them off in the public realm, why can't I?
Why not me?
If Taylor Swift can sing about Harry Styles, why can't I?
I think you should sing all of your tweets. Just do like a video of your face singing it. Whatever the insult is. It would be great. It would be amazing. But yeah, Christopher, you a hard no on the vegan?
Yeah, I don't know, like, I find what you said at the end there actually quite interesting, like this idea that like if it becomes art, it's supposedly fine. Like, isn't there so much of like Adele's music just about like this exact sort of thing? I don't know. I don't listen to that much Adele. Who has recently? I don't know. What's she up to these days? I don't know. Like, I just couldn't do it. It just like, isn't it like the MP for like Paisley or something who tweeted like I hate maths when they were 15, and then it just like when they became let me get the details on this. Like I'm pretty sure I've somehow got Rachel Riley's Twitter page. I feel like if anyone's going to tweet I hate maths, it's not Rachel Riley. I thought it was Mary Black.
Oh, it probably was Mary Black.
Oh yeah, she tweeted maths is shite. And then after she got into power, or not into power, but you know, when she became elected, people were like, do you still stand by your views on maths? I don't know. So I think that would be like, you know, what happens when you decide to run for office? And I don't know. I think that's just the thing with Twitter. I'm always aware of it. Like, it's just always there.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything. But are we saying, with regards to the Adele and Taylor Swift comments, if I made TikToks, would that be better?
Maybe.
Could you class TikTok as art?
I think TikToks are inherently embarrassing, and I'm not interested in sustaining the TikTok narrative. I've not seen one TikTok that I thought was like good, and I don't think you should get involved with it, Eilís.
I'm not planning to.
I'm sorry if I'm isolating the TikTok enjoying audience. I just
Everyone
can't handle it.
I feel like I slept at the wheel, and suddenly everyone's got TikTok on their phone.
I know. I
was
feel
like,
old.
yeah, I'm like, whoops, sorry, I was not paying attention. Like,
Well, I like Vine compilations sometimes because someone else has curated that for me. But it just seems like TikTok is a glut. Like, it just seems like it's so much. And I hated Vine when when Vine was big, because it was just like, I just thought it was really annoying. I thought it was really, really annoying. I maintain that TikTok is annoying. And I think if you did a TikTok of you talking about how shit your ex was, you would isolate the audience you want.
Who knows?
I mean, that's like very harsh on TikTok.
No, it is kind of shit. It's trying to be Vine, and it's not doing it.
I don't know. I think they're making so much money, aren't they? Like, that's why, I mean, everyone uses it. Like, and it's so popular, and Microsoft was trying to buy it, and man, it's a whole thing.
Madness. I recently started dating a close friend, and I think I just want to go back to being friends, but I can't tell what he thinks about everything. Can we still be friends if we break up?
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh, that's rough.
That is like the worst possible adventure. Yeah. Well, it's better than going out with them and then realising you hate them.
Yeah. But that's the only thing that is worse.
But then at least then you get a clean break, because you can just be like, no, like, this is done now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this anymore. How would you feel if you started going out with your best friend and then they were like, can we just go back to being best friends?
This is probably really like outdated, old-fashioned kind of view, but I just feel if you slept with someone, if you have seen and touched someone else's genitals, you've crossed the line.
And Eilís feels like... Yeah, Eilís feels quite intense about balls as well. I think this is like...
Don't publicly out me like
Eilís
this.
feels like balls should be small.
I hate them.
And that they shouldn't be warm, apparently. Like, Eilís quite likes cold balls.
No, I don't.
I find this like a really disturbing revelation, and I wanted to call it out publicly. Because
I can't believe you were spinning the narrative like this. I
is why she
cannot
wants
believe...
the hyper-specific forms.
Yeah, there should be a dating checklist for you, Eilís. She could put out like ball size, ball temperature.
Oh god, the balls are in her court.
But I think balls are nice. I think balls are fun and fine. I think they're a good time. Right?
I just think, and no offense, penis and balls, they're ugly, they're horrid.
They're not.
I don't want to look at them.
This isn't true, Christopher. Don't listen.
Thanks,
I think genitals of every kind are great. Love some penises, love some balls. If anything, I would say that I didn't like balls that were small, too tiny, scary.
I never said I like small balls. I hate this. I feel
Yeah, she's official Eilís, so she'd like them to be the size of grapes.
Almonds.
Little almond testicles tucked under the penis. But no, I think they're lovely. I think they're really nice. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to see what your friends' penises and balls look like. And your friend vaginas, I guess. I just think it's a point of interest. I kind of just want to see what people look like naked, just like as a rule. So guys, you know what you have to do by the end of this episode.
Someone please load up the Full Monty soundtrack.
I totally get that, like, once you've had sex with someone, it's really difficult to be friends with them.
Just because, it changes the whole chemical makeup of your reaction to someone. Like, Jenny, like, the chemicals in your brain change. It, like, messes with your biology, man.
Yeah, someone told me that your DNA is, like, like microscopically affected by sperm you take into your body as a
That
woman.
sounds like something. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but that sounds like the sort of thing you hear when you're 14, and then like I don't know.
think I had this like 2 years ago, and it's because like it's to help with like literally like breeding, because it's your body changing to like suit the sperm to make it easier to like attach or something like that. I'm sure there was a news story about this. Hang on. Does sperm affect your brain, women?
3 English graduates step into the science realm and just does.
Semen has controlling power over female genes and behaviour. New Scientist 2015.
I hate the patriarchy.
It's all about maximising your chances of male reproducing, says Sarah Robertson of the University of Adelaide, Australia. So seminal fluid alters both the bodies and sometimes even the behaviour of females. It triggers changes in the uterus, and I don't mean pregnancy, but yeah.
And I don't mean pregnancy.
I don't mean
That feels like a joke. Like, you know what I mean? I don't mean pregnancy.
Yeah, so apparently the semen causes the cervix to produce molecules that influence the rest of the body.
Wow.
And yeah, so it does genuinely like fuck you up a bit.
Yeah, and like even like cuddling someone after sex releases hormones and stuff that kind of changes your whole like emotions, how you feel about them. I don't know. Maybe this is just a reflection of me. I couldn't if I'd slept with someone, I probably couldn't separate that and then like I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's fair. Like I think it's asking a lot of people to just be like, can we just be friends now? Can you like stop having your romantic feelings for me and like your sexual feelings that you had, and just like close that door, lock it, and leave it alone forever?
The other person might have always have had romantic feelings for you, and might have always wanted this to be the case.
And like, I don't think anyone should stay in a relationship they don't want to stay in. Like, I don't think anyone should just like put up with this relationship from now on because they don't want to lose their friend. I think being honest is really important. Just being like, yeah, I just preferred the dynamic when we were friends. Like, obviously, because like I do love you a lot. Like, I thought this would be the right thing to do, but I just think that maybe we're better off the other way. I think you can say that but also you have to be like, but if you don't want to be friends and if you want time apart, that's completely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just like demand that you're like back to being best friends like, after you've dumped someone, because it is still dumping them.
Yeah, and like very messy boundaries of what can you do as a friend, what can you not do as a friend.
Yeah.
Like, can you still watch a movie together? Is that going to be too weird?
Yeah, can you just have like one-to-one phone calls? Like, especially if you're the kind of friends that had like one-to-one phone calls like most days a week or something like that before. Like if you were super, super tight, if they're the person that you would just like message for everything and like, then that just has to stop for a while. Like I can see why that would be really stressful and like upsetting. I don't know.
I think it's interesting that we see a lot of like older couples who are like divorced and remain friends, but then I feel like a lot of people always question like, are they really friends? Is it a bit weird? Like I don't know.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, but I think that comes with having to co-parent as well.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys that I went out with, like when I was at school, like his parents got divorced when he was quite young, but they were like, it wasn't a messy divorce like whatsoever. They were just like, yeah, we just don't really like love each other like that anymore. Like it's more like a partnership than a marriage. So like there were no like messy feelings. They just like split and maintained like a really genuine friendship, and they like all go on holiday together with like the partners as well.
Wow.
And it was all like quite chill and quite nice.
I find it really impressive. Like,
but I think that's also exceptional.
Yeah. I guess people have like, not everyone follows the same sort of like emotional trajectory. Some like relationships are probably configured in ways that allow that to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And also like sex isn't that important to somebody, then you can see why that would like transition into something more like that more easily. But I think like sex is a really important part of it. Like I think sex is like really fundamental to relationships, basically. like successful emotional and romantic relationships. Like if they're the one thing, and like the defining factor of a friendship is that it's platonic and not sexual.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you can have like successful asexual relationships.
That's true. I always forget about them. Sorry, guys. And maybe relationships shouldn't be that different from having a best friend.
Yeah.
I kind of think they should. So,
You just want to bang.
I just want to bang.
You just love balls too much.
I just love balls. I don't even want to bang. I just want to look at balls. That's my sexuality.
Full sexual.
But yeah, I think. What are the final words on this?
Balls to the walls. That's one of my favourite.
Balls to the walls.
That's one of my favourite phrases. I'm sorry. I heard every time someone uses that phrase, I'm like, I just forgot that was a phrase.
And I kind of don't know what it means.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means.
But Eilís, final words on, can you be friends with someone you've gone out with who you were friends with before?
I am a big, horrible mess of emotions at all times. So for me, that would be probably physically impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you could if you're more mature and less of an absolute mess than I am. But...
Christopher?
Well, I think it's just, like the question says, can we still be friends if we break up? And it's like, who knows? Depends exactly on how the other person takes it. Sorry.
And I guess that debunks like a lot of the things we talk about on this podcast. I guess.
And that will be that is the final question that you wanted me to answer on, the final words, and I'll come for your podcast concept. And it's been very nice being on the show. I don't know how you'll recover from here on out.
Well, that's fine. I guess we'll move on. But what we're moving on to is our recommendations. I think we've got a big one, and it's also framed as a question from Christopher.
I love it so much.
How'd you go, Christopher?
I just thought it's a joke. My partner doesn't like Folklore by Taylor Swift. Is this enough to chuck them?
Are you breaking up with me?
Au revoir.
No.
End of podcast. Basically, Folklore by Taylor Swift came out last Friday, was it? And yeah, Christopher and I fucking love it. Think it's great. Think it has its problems, obviously, but we really like it. But Eilís Lee doesn't have the emotional wherewithal to enjoy Taylor Swift as it is meant to be enjoyed.
Okay, I have been holding this theory, but you know, sort of like the central question of theology. But you know, it's like do you believe that God is real or fake? And I think that the central theological question about folklore is, do you think Taylor Swift is real or fake? Like, do you take her sincerity as being real, or do you take it as like a calculated personality? And I think if you are, it's like yesterday I had like an Instagram advert that was like Taylor Swift holding her phone to her face, being like, "Hey guys, I just made this new album. You should check it out." And it was like very obviously trying to feel sincere, but like Taylor Swift isn't logging into like the Instagram ad portal and like uploading her little thing. And do you know what I mean? Like that's like the difficulty. And I think because this album is supposed to be like so sincere, like I wrote this during lockdown. Like if you're not on board with it, you're not on board with it.
Yeah.
But if you're like willing to give her that chance, then maybe you're more likely to be on board with it. I don't know. That's not saying that Eilís isn't giving people chances. I'm just saying. No,
I'm absolutely not giving people chances.
Yeah, Eilís gave a very performative chance to Folklore, which was listening to 4 songs and going, "This is shit," and messaging us going, "This is rubbish. Don't get this. I hate the way your voice sounds. Boo." But we were talking about sincerity, like authenticity as well, in respect to Lana Del Rey yesterday, me and Harlan. Because there was this article that came out in like 2014 that was like, "And Lana Del Rey is not even her real name." Like,
oh no.
Yeah, okay. And it was in like Rolling Stone or something. It was really crazy. And it was like, "She's a faker. She's a fake. Can you enjoy her music if she's a big fake?" And the answer is kind of, yeah, because she can be a character. And I don't think we have to rely on musicians to present like their absolute self. Like things and emotions can be truthful without them being like literally about that person. Like those circumstances.
I will say I do find the idea of her writing as characters really interesting. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I think so.
It definitely goes.
Bruce Springsteen did it. Bruce Springsteen wrote as this the whole of Nebraska is from the perspective of like a serial killer, basically. Like it's based on like a real serial killer, but no one's like, Bruce Springsteen, is he authentic? Like it's really strange.
I think also like a lot of that Lana Del Rey music is about like, I don't think she's ever really necessarily claimed to be authentic. Like a lot of that music's about like not necessarily knowing like what's true. Like and I think she's like very like performatively taking on being American. Like there's that song on Norman fucking Rockwell, which is called like the next best American record. Like it's like, trying to be American and like not necessarily sure what that is.
And I think that like Taylor Swift's also very involved in that like Americana like relationship between almost like the presented version of society and the presented version of people and like what America's presenting. This has gotten like really intense really quickly. Yeah. Anyway, back to like the breakup element of this album. I love the song Exile with Bon Iver. I think it sounds like a Nick Cave song. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. Eilís says rubbish.
I think there's a couple of reasons for this. I don't think some of the new Bon Iver stuff is like particularly exciting, and I don't think what he's done in this is it's just not my cup of tea, you know? It's just a taste thing. It's not floating me boat.
But it does mean that you and Christopher have to break up, and I'm sorry that I had to mediate this breakup on a podcast. But
he's leaving me for Austria anyway, so. Oh
yeah, Christopher's going to Austria. Yeah, big see ya.
Please don't give away my whereabouts.
I'm doxing you live on air.
He's in this country.
But yeah, do you have any other recommendations? I would recommend listening to Folklore by Taylor Swift as a breakup.
I don't know if we necessarily answered how it fits the theme of like helping you through like about emotional renewal, but it's a good album.
It's a good album. It's quite sad. It'll let you have a big cry. It's got like a lot of like big feelings. I think that's all it really takes to like, and it is about breakups and like love triangle gone wrong and all that kind of thing. So, you know, you can do it. Any film recommendations? Eilís, any more in the Shrek category? Actually, Eilís, who are our Shrek characters according to you?
Okay, so please don't take this the wrong way, but you have like a similar energy to Prince Charming.
Oh my god, that was the hugest compliment. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
That went the exact opposite way you expected it to. I think I am. Like, that's great. That's huge. Thank you, Eilís. Thank you.
And then for Christopher, I don't know. I kind of see you as like the pigs because they're
blind and I wear glasses. Is this how we're going? No.
I mean, it could have been the Three Blind Mice.
Oh no, the pigs aren't blind. The blind, the mice are blind. What are the pigs' defining qualities?
They're just like fun. I don't know. I need to think this through more. I don't think you are the pigs, but I'm still processing my read.
I am okay if my like authentic selfhood is so vast it must be split over 3 different pigs. That is only when we summarize 3 pigs we get approach.
Oh my god, no, you're the giant gingerbread man.
What is his name? Not Mongo. Fucking hell.
Mongo sacrificed himself for his friends. He's a very giving person. And so is Christopher.
That's very kind, thank you. I will take that.
You're welcome.
Well, on that note, I suppose we should wrap up, but thank you for listening. You can contact the podcast at Breaking Up Podcast on Instagram. You can email us at breakinguppodcast@gmail.com. You can catch Eilís at ish.lee on Instagram and Christopher at, do you want to be advertised?
I don't even know my Twitter name off the top of my head.
Nice. Okay.
Look hard enough and maybe you'll find it.
But thanks for listening. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for outing me with my hatred of balls. Really appreciate that.